Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to share with you an interview which I had with an individual who is a business manager who works for a company in the South Bronx, which he helped to formulate, which was formerly referred to as Project Hope and now referred to as Workforce Bronx. It is a subsidiary of the Urban Health Plan, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, Hispanic health organization in the Bronx in New York. This particular individual, whose name is Miguel Calderon, allowed me to interview him, and he shared with me some of his insight into the world of business management. And it is my hope that something that is shared in this interview would be of use to you in your pursuit and or your endeavors relating to either history and business. Thank you for allowing me to share. And with no further ado, I present to you now the interview with me and Mr. Miguel Calderon. Thank you. Good afternoon again. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. Okay, what again was your title and what is the type of business you're involved in?
My name is Miguel Calderon. I'm the manager of workforce and community development for Urban Health Plan. My business, in essence, is geared towards trying to help community residents get back into the workforce, also meeting with local businesses to assist them with their hiring needs to make
Hmm,
sure that we are able to provide the best candidates. In
thank you.
that process, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that in that process, we offer an array of services.
Okay. How long have you been a manager or an entrepreneur?
Well, I here at this location about 12 years, in total altogether about 30 years.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you're
Yeah.
familiar with the question, so we should be able to do this more succinctly. Okay, so I was asking, what inspired you to get involved in this business?
It's always been about for me and my family in actuality to be to help people in the community. As I stated, I started working with at-risk youth who were on the verge of dropping out of high school due to poor attendance. And so I created a program whereby we would identify, I would ask the school to identify 10 to 15 of those students who were about to drop out due to poor attendance, mostly juniors and seniors. And once they were identified, I would meet with them and ask them if they could get paid to do a job, what would they like to do? And so, some of them said maintenance, some of them said office work, some said food service and things of that nature. And so I was able to identify an organization that would be willing to hire these students, and we would provide them with a stipend. The caveat was that the students had to attend all of their classes before they could come to work in the afternoon after school. If they
Right.
missed one class, they were told to go home, which means they would lose that day's pay. It took us about 2 months to get the students to understand that the communication between me and the attendance person at the school was extremely tight, and I would be told, okay, everybody went to class except for Bobby. He skipped gym,
Mm,
and so when Bobby came to work, I would tell him, Bobby, you have to go home. You're not getting paid today. You didn't go to gym class, and so of course they weren't happy about that. But that was the agreement that they all signed off on, that they would attend all their classes and then be able to come to work. The outcome was this: these students who had poor attendance knew that if they wanted to make that money, they had to go to all their classes. Now, going to all their classes meant now that their attendance improved, they're submitting homework, they're doing classwork, they're taking exams. Their overall academics improved because they really wanted to come to work and get
right.
that money.
That was an
For
incentive.
these seniors, for these juniors and seniors, yeah, that was the incentives, and we knew that for this population, these were not your college bound students. We knew they weren't going to college. So what we wanted to do was to make sure that at least, at a minimum, they had 2 years experience working in either in maintenance, food service, as an office aide, whatever it was. So that when they graduated and the resume was put together, now we can assist them in finding employment. As I stated, we had a young man who I bumped into just before the pandemic, who was one of those students at Columbus High School, And when he saw me, he says, "Hey, Mr. C, I'm still working, and I'm still at the same place that you put me to." And I was like, "Wow, that has to be 15 years now, 15, 20 years." He's like, "Yeah, I'm still there." And again, it made sense, right? Because he was in college, man. He wasn't going to college, but he was a good worker, and he learned to become
Right.
an even better worker. So this enabled. This is what started me wanting to work in this field. I started working out with youth, and then I progressed to working with adults, ex-offenders, substance abuse people, and trying to get them back into the workforce.
Wow, that's great, sir. And how has the business changed since you became involved?
Well, it's back in the day you could walk into some business, any business, and state that you was looking for a job. I did that one time. I went to a place called Astor Wines and Spirits down at Astor Place, and I just walked in and said, and then they asked, "What do you want?" I said, "Oh, I'm looking for a job." And the manager took me, had me fill out an application, and then a couple of days I was working in the warehouse. But now the technology is so involved that now you have to do everything online, submit applications, submit resumes, and stuff like that. And for a lot of people, this is not an easy task. Young people, I think, get it. Technology. What they don't get is how to put together a professional resume, professional cover letter. How to dress professionally, how to communicate professionally. This is something these are these soft skills that a lot of young people are missing, as well as older adults.
Wow. All right. Um, how do you know when the market or the business is changing?
Well, I mean, more and more businesses are again are going more and more with technology. And oh God, I'm sorry, Mr. Hunter. Let me get this door. So the market and how do we know if it's changing? Well, I think as I stated before, you'll see if it's going for the worst, you'll start to notice, unfortunately, huge amounts of layoffs, people being let go from their companies. Uh, I said it before that when we had the big crisis back in 2008, people that were making over $100,000 were let go from their jobs, and to make sure that they could continue to pay their mortgage, their car notes, feed their children, pay their bills, they took lesser paying jobs. And when I say lesser, I'm talking about someone who was maybe making 120, $150,000 now I had to settle for a job that was paying, 60, $70,000. What
Wow.
impact does that have? Now the person who doesn't have as much education or experience is now kind of pushed further down the ladder when it comes to trying to get a decent paying job, because now people that are being laid off that obviously have longer work experience and better education and better skills are taking on those jobs. The market, is interesting when you hear the market, inflation, and you hear about the interest rates going up. Uh, there was a talk a couple of days ago that in 2 years it's going to be a lot more difficult to purchase homes. The purchasing homes is a big indicator in the market as to how the economy is doing. If people are not buying homes, things are not, it's probably because people don't have the money, or people, or a significant amount of people are out of work. The market, again, you'll see people will tend to hold on to their money. If things are going bad, they're not gonna invest as much. They're not going to be as active with their portfolios or their 401ks, because
Right.
they're really trying to hold on to their money for as long as they can. And two, they can, and I've heard it before, which like kind of peaks and valleys. So you have, everything is great when you're in the peak. The idea is hold on to ride out when you're in the valley.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. And how do you how do you interpret a change in the market, or what is your interpretation once a market changes?
So right away, like I said, you'll notice when the market is changing, when the market has lost a considerable amount of revenue for that day, or you'll notice that again, for example, the tariff that's been talked about, increasing it, to other countries. That's going to cause a trade war. You're going to, tariff war. All of a sudden, okay, you're going to raise the price on us, we're going to raise the price on you.
Right.
And unfortunately that tends to impact your middle class and your people that are on the poverty level. As I stated before, I think in Hawaii or someplace like that, a gallon of milk is $9. Imagine,
Mm,
people paying $9 for a gallon of milk. The price of gas. Again, these are things. These are factors that, when the market is starting to struggle a little bit, um, people are realizing, hey, wait a minute, I need to make sure that I can have some form of way of having some kind of income coming in, and this is where you'll see it. I think you saw it in 2000. I'm not in 2000, but just as the pandemic was at its height, a lot of people went to online businesses. A lot of entrepreneurs created businesses online
right.
and realize, hey, I can make money doing this. You know what I mean? I stated before that there's a young man that puts together puzzles of people's personal pictures, family members, mothers, grandmothers, of people that might have passed away. He puts it together and frames it, and then sells it. Well, this is how he was able to survive during the pandemic. When not too many people were hiring. So how do you know? Well, again, large amount of layoffs. People, are afraid that the market is going to get so bad that now they start to, withdraw money from their bank account, keep it closer to home. Prices are going through the roof, and again, if people are struggling, they're not going to spend. They're going to hold on to their money. They are not going to spend.
And how do you prepare for changes in the market?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to be solvent. I think it's important to have multiple resources of revenue. I think it's important, again, if you're an entrepreneur, and let's say, let's say you have a brick and mortar type of a business, um, and of course during the pandemic that you were severely impacted. So most companies had to shift and say, okay, you know what, let's move this business online to an online platform. So this way, we can generate more money online. More people see it as opposed to people just walking past the storefront or passing by your store. Now you have a visible presence online, and if it's a quality product, people will buy. I think you're going to see more people, store money away. Banks are nice, and yes, to some degree, they are FDIC insured. But in cases of crisis and emergencies, people are going to be able to they're going to want to have their cash nearby. They want to be able to make sure that they have money on the hand to be able to survive or get through what could be tough times.
Um, Well, you actually answered my next question, which was how do you handle such changes? So basically, that's
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I do appreciate your time you've afforded me. Hopefully, if we ever get to do this again, I'll have everything online, in line, updated, and ready to go, so that I won't take so much of your time.
Mr. Mr. Hunter. First things first. Let me tell you something. I've always admired your work ethic. I always admire the way you operate. You can call me. You can call on me anytime.
Don't say
I'm
that,
at your
sir.
disposal.
You're right.
I like the work that you do. I like the work that you
Wow.
do. So by all means, and if there's anyone else that I think would benefit you, I'll introduce you so that way you could have even more people for this.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. And I would say have a happy Thanksgiving if that's what you do. And in fact, hopefully I will talk to you, if not later this week, at some point in the near future, because I have something else I wanted to put by you, but I it's not relevant to this particular interview. So again,
I
have a
understand,
great day. When Miss Cielo comes back, if you can let her know that I asked about her and all is fine. And
of
I'm
course.
gonna try to reach out to Mr. Perez too to let him know that I actually got to talk to the boss. So he didn't have to do the interview. But again, I
No
appreciate you, and
problem.
hopefully all is well with you and your family. And God bless you, and have a good
Likewise to
day.
you too.
Yes, sir. Thank
You
you.
too, Mr. Hunter. God
Yes, sir.
bless you and your family. Many blessings.
Thank you, sir. Gal Calderon. Thank you.